Hey guys, I'm Dave and welcome to the Trull Gallery. Today we're going to talk about hollow chisel mortises. Over the last week or so, I just happened to have seen a couple of videos on hollow chisel mortising, and they both kind of rubbed me the wrong way for two different reasons. The first one I saw was Johnny over at Crafted Workshop, and he's got this gorgeous hollow chisel mortiser that he virtually never uses and would love to get rid of it. I would really enjoy having a tool like that if I had the space. The other video was from Neil over at Pask Makes, and he had one of these attachments, but didn't have anything to use it in. And he's incredibly clever, and he figured out a way to use it safely, but it was still kind of sketchy and didn't sit right with me. I want to show you guys a third option that really doesn't take up much space, may work with something you already have in the shop, and isn't all that expensive. Let's take a look.
I'm talking about a mortising attachment for the drill press. I use a Delta model 17924, and while mine is over 25 years old, you can still pick them up. I looked at the big box stores and they sell the Delta model for around $155. There are some knockoff attachments available on Amazon for closer to $100, but I'm not sure of their quality. This is what they look like when they're all new and pretty. This is what mine looks like after kicking around the shop for decades. Inside the case with its broken latches, I keep the torn directions, which are very helpful if you don't use the tool on a regular basis. The chisel holder is what makes this safe to use, and it's a hefty bit of cast iron. Since I keep mine in the case, I have to reattach the locking lever. I also replace the knob that locks the chisel in place. I usually leave the two guides on the fence, but apparently last time I used the jig, I put them back in the case. There's also a quill alignment pin and the hollow chisel sets. Each consists of an auger bit that removes most of the waste and a matched hollow chisel that squares the corner of your work. The kit comes with 1/4 inch, 5/16, 3/8, and 1/2 inch chisel sets. The last thing in my case are the 3 sizes of split ring bushings. One of these sets should match the diameter of the quill in your drill press. According to the instructions, this kit can be adapted to most any drill press from 10 inches to 16.5 inches. I keep the fence from my kit attached to an auxiliary base. It can be mounted directly to many drill press tables, just not mine. The fence has an adjustable hold down. This is really helpful if the bit binds in the wood while you're cutting. It holds the stock in place while you extract the bit. The 2 guides are installed on either side of the fence, and these help keep your stock tight to the fence as you work. I seem to be missing the foot on one of mine, but it still works. By loosening the locking levers, you can adjust the fence forward and back. One day I'll upgrade my soft pine base with some T-tracks to make those adjustments a bit smoother. So those are the parts, but how does it work? The setup is pretty easy. I start by installing the quill alignment pin in the drill press chuck. Then I move the rubber ring on the quill up out of the way so I can install the 2 halves of the correct size split ring bushings. I don't know if you need to, but I always keep the split on the front and rear of the quill. Now I can slide the chisel holder up in place. I tighten the chisel locking knob first, and then tighten the locking lever to secure the chisel holder in place. Now you can remove that alignment pin. You can either mount your fence to your drill press table, or, if you're like me, clamp the auxiliary table in place. I do my best to center the fence on the quill left to right. We'll work on the front to back shortly. To install the chisel and bit set, run them up through the chisel holder, but be careful of those sharp tips. I I use a bit of scrap to support the tips while I set the chisel about a 32nd of an inch below the holder and then lock it in place. Now using that scrap, push the auger bit up until it bottoms out in the chisel and tighten the chuck. Now loosen that lock knob and push the chisel up until it contacts the holder and locks it in place. That 32nd of an inch, or maybe a bit more, provides the clearance for the drill and chisel to do their work without direct contact. I laid out a mortise on my stock, in this case 3/8 of an inch wide and centered on the face. I also make a mark on the end of the stock to help with the depth of cut. The fence can be adjusted as needed until the chisel is on your line. Then I use a small square to ensure that the chisel is square to the fence, and double check my setup. One last check. By extending my layout lines to the end of the stock, I can lower the chisel and verify that the fence is in just the right location. You may have noticed that I'm using a smaller chisel. I could use my 3/8 inch chisel and cut the mortise in one pass, but by using a smaller chisel, I can ensure that my mortise is centered on my stock. One last thing for the setup is to set the depth stop. I generally cut my mortises a bit deeper than I plan to make my tenons. This leaves room for glue that may get driven in, and saves me from having to clean out the bottom of the mortise. With the setup complete, and a test cut or two, just in case, it's time to drill some square holes. Set your stock against the fence, align the outside of the chisel with the upper layout line on your stock, hold things in place with your hold down assembly and guides, and make that first plunge cut. Just make sure to clear out your chips often. If they build up in the chisel, it could cause it and the auger bit to overheat, which leads to premature dulling, and a god-awful screeching noise which we'll avoid here. If you're making a mortise like I'm showing here, your second cut should determine the opposite end of the mortise. Once those are done, you can clear out all the material in between. If you were just to work from one side to another, the bit could take the path of least resistance and leave you with one angled end. It may not be an issue in pine, but I've seen it happen in maple. With the near side complete, turn your stock 180 degrees and repeat the process. This centers the mortise on your stock. Also, if you're cutting a through mortise, work just over halfway from one face, and then turn your stock over and come through the opposite face. This will prevent any blowout from ruining your work. Oh, and keeping a small screwdriver nearby is handy to clear out the chips, letting you see your progress. If you're careful with your setup, this will leave you with a clean, square mortise.
I know there's a lot of ways to cut mortises, and while I don't use them all the time, when I do, this attachment is quick and easy to set up. Well, at least after a bit of practice. And while I would love a dedicated mortising machine or even a domino, at the moment space is a bit of an issue. And I'm kind of set in my ways and I'm used to this attachment. Love to hear your thoughts in this video. How do you cut your mortises? And if you could upgrade to something, what would it be? Drop them in the comments below. As usual, I've added links below to some of the tools and machinery I use here in the shop on a regular basis. And some of them have affiliate links, and should you purchase one through those links, it does help keep this channel going. If you enjoyed this video, maybe give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. And if you haven't already, maybe it's time to hit that subscribe button and little bell so you get notified each time I put out a new video. Again, I'm not sure what's coming up next, and while the arm is healing nicely, I still have some limitations. So for now, have a great day, take care, and we'll see you soon.